Evacuation Day and Hill Day. You know what? Just make them like any other day, because guess what? The people in the private sector have to go to work on both those days. These are public sector holidays for Suffolk County only. You close the schools, you close the county offices, you close the state offices, and my gosh, Madam President, you can see the tumbleweeds go down the halls of the State House on Evacuation Day and on Bunker Hill Day. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. This is the time where we've got to set the example. These two holidays, you know what? And I love a holiday. Make no mistake about it. I mean, Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, President's Day. I mean, holidays are important, and they're built into our work schedules. But these two make no sense at all. No sense at all. I mean, we've got to find ways to save money, find ways to look for economy, find ways to set the example. So it is beyond me why we have let these two holidays slip away all these years and let just a select few get them. Bring some sanity to some of these ridiculous mechanisms and accountings and situations and deals. I mean, Suffolk only? Please, please. We want to be embarrassed. I would ask, Madam President, that as we consign these holidays to that ash bin of history, that we take a call of the yeas and nays through the roll call, Madam President.
From Suffolk, Mr. Hart.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I would ask that the members vote no on this amendment, and I didn't hear the gentleman talk for too long on this amendment, but I wasn't tuned into him. But in my district, St. Patrick's Day is a very important amendment, and it talks about the history of the Irish, but also the history of Evacuation Day. It's a very storied history that we go over every year, and it's about the British evacuating the city of Boston. I would say that whether it's Evacuation Day or Bunker Hill Day, we need to respect our history, in that if we eliminate these holidays today in Suffolk County, then what's next? Do we eliminate maybe President's Day? Do we eliminate July 4th? Why don't we eliminate and forget about our history? Why don't we get rid of Thanksgiving? Why don't we think about getting rid of Christmas? Why don't we think about getting rid of Labor Day? Let's get rid of all the traditions that we have in our state for the sake of expediency, because it makes for a good headline in some of the local papers, maybe outside of the city of Boston. So let's not be expedient here for the sake of the soundbite. Let's not be expedient here for the sake of saving a couple of dollars. Let's remember and respect the traditions and all that we have in our neighborhoods and in our counties across the Commonwealth. I would not go out to Hamden, Hampshire necessarily and tell your constituents to disregard what your history is. So I would ask that you not come into Suffolk County and ask that we disregard and not remember and not teach our young about the history of the British evacuation from the city of Boston and the related history of the Irish that we have as well. So I would ask that this amendment not be adopted, although I enjoy the discussion, believe me, and I enjoy the spirit of the amendment.
From Hamden in Hampshire, where no history takes place.
Well,
Senator Knapik.
You know, it's obvious the gentleman wasn't listening to my earlier remarks. He weaves this grand tale of the Irish and Boston and all the glories of days gone by. But when you leave Suffolk County, the history ends. It's quite obvious. They have 2 days to call their own. But when you go over to Middlesex, there's no special days. You cross the bay over to Quincy, what do you get? Nothing. You go over the Mystic River to the north, there's nothing going on up there. But over here in Suffolk County, because of the Irish and all that they have done in General Washington saving the city 200 some odd years ago, got to have the days off for the public employees, don't we? Got to have it. Got to bring the registries to a screeching halt so that the people who do the work out there, who are the engine of the economy, they can't get serviced by government. You got to bring the schools to a screeching halt, and you got to have, please, Madam President, I mean, come on. What? The people, the taxpayer. We got to wake up. The people in the private economy don't get the deals we get. And, you know, we'll call out the deals that we see them, and This is another one of them. Special days of rest, special days of recovery after St. Patrick's Day. That's really what it is. Special days to reflect on the past. I doubt that. Madam President, please. These two holidays, they got to go. Now's the time. This is a crisis. This is the time when we make two. And yeah, you can still celebrate them. And nobody's going after Labor Day or Christmas. That would be like Scrooge. I mean, please. I don't want to see Christmas go away. Christmas is for the children. You know that, Madam President, as well as I do. We're not going to take the holidays from the children, but the holidays for the hacks, yeah, the holidays for the hacks go. So I'm hoping, Madam President, the amendment is adopted.
Mr. Hart.
Thank you very much, and I'll be brief. Again, we are, for those folks that live outside of Suffolk County, and I don't know what kind of history you have out there in Hampden, Hampshire, but we have real history here in the city. Do you know where you're sitting, Mr. Leader? Do you know where you sit here today? We have great history in Suffolk County, and we are not afraid to celebrate it, nor are we afraid to recall it and to teach it to our children and their children as well. The South Boston Citizens Association, around Evacuation Day, have been, for the past 125 years, holding events to be sure that school children and all of us in the neighborhood remember the history. Remember the history of Evacuation Day. It's around Evacuation Day. It's not even about the Irish necessarily. The Citizens Association and the work that they do. So what you're saying is, if you live outside the city, you know, history doesn't matter. So let's take it away from them. Let's take it away from them because they don't know what history really is. And you are saying let's again, for the sake of expediency, for the sake of a headline, for the sake of catering to some of these radio talk show hosts, let me suggest that we get rid of this hack holiday. Is that what you really think it is? It's a celebration of the history we have in our city, and if we get rid of this, then maybe 50 years from now, they'll say, let's get rid of all the holidays that I mentioned a moment ago. What about Thanksgiving? We don't have to celebrate that anymore. Christmas and July 4th and Labor Day and Memorial. Let's work over the weekend. Let's not celebrate Memorial Day. But you know why? Because that's not really that important anymore. That's what we're going to be getting into, Madam President, here. It's a very dangerous precedent.